Welcome back to Unmute Yourself. I'm your host, Jennifer Carter, and this podcast is about lifting the curtain on leadership, purpose, and the real stories behind women who dared to do things differently. We'll talk about how they found their path, the struggles along the way, and how they built something that truly matters. And these are normal people doing extraordinary things because I want you to know you are extraordinary too. My guest today is Beth Stowell Reed, a woman with a sharp mind, dark, twisty sense of humor, and a life story that's equal parts heartbreaking, honest, and super funny. And she lives in a small cottage in Wisconsin on a beautiful piece of land by the river where she reads books, loves her local library, and is figuring out what comes next. Her career has included corporate leadership, leaving and returning, reinvention, and the kind of life experiences that change you at the cellular level. After losing her first husband to cancer just months after his diagnosis, had to navigate grief, identity, and the impossible task of rebuilding a life she never expected to have to rebuild. So, Beth, I'm glad you're here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I love it. And remind me, so you live in like a super small town, right?
It's like 10,000 people. And we're
Really?
about like 30 miles from Milwaukee. So not too far from 60 miles from Chicago. So not too bad. But it's a town. It's not a suburb. So it's my hometown.
I love that. I love that. How does it feel to move back to your hometown?
Strange
Yeah.
to figure out how to be an adult in your hometown. And a lot has changed, I think, for the better. Like there's a lot of new things here. I think it's a little cooler than when I lived here, but every small town is trying to be the cute small town. But I'm still in the process of like finding friends, right? Or I have my family and I'm grateful and they're very rooted here. My parents own small businesses and they have for decades. They both were born here. I have aunts and uncles here, but sometimes you just need someone you're not related to talk to.
Or that like, we'll see you and be like, I changed your diapers, or
Which I do
remember
to
when you
my
teach
nieces
me
and
that.
nephews now. It's terrible. It's awful.
But you didn't like grow up and stay there. You moved back. So like, how did you end up back in your hometown?
I didn't ever go far. I went to Milwaukee or I lived in Chicago for a couple of years because I thought it'd be fun to like have different license plates on your car than the state you were born in because you need a
Yeah, I
little
like that.
adventure. I met a boy and he lived there, so I went there. Anyways, then I brought him back. I we so my new husband, my second husband, we moved back during the pandemic. Like so many of us were trying to make a go. Like it was just crazy times, right? So it's also interesting to be in that decision now that we're post the pandemic and you're like it was also strange to come back to a town you're trying to get to know to and a lot of things are closed or there's places I wish I could take him because he was new to town. And so, but yeah, we did it. We thought it was the best solution to be able to like, be around people that might have needed caring for, might have needed some help, or and for us too. We're like, it's great to be around family.
Yeah, that's nice. And I know you love your library. Tell us
I re-
about like I'm serious. Like a library is so important. Tell us about your experience with the local library
I
and what
remember
it's meant to you.
I remember signing up for my card and my husband and I went and I feel like it was pretty soon after. And I picked out 2 books off of the shelf. I was so excited. It was like, and I'm a very frugal person, probably to a fault sometimes. I'm an actuary by background. We're very practical. I shouldn't generalize for everyone, but I am. And so I'm
But
like,
yes.
I can get like free books and I hate stuff. I can give the books back. I don't need stuff. And I got a small cottage. Like I don't have room for books. So it's like ideal all around. I always say like it costs money to leave the house. Not if you go to the library.
Not if you go to the library.
Not if you go to the library.
What's your favorite book that you've read recently?
Gosh, probably because I read a lot of fiction and I'm not looking to find the most in like thought provoking book and serious book. Like I read some like of that, but I'm all about fiction. I really liked The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife.
Oh, I don't know that.
I post my books on Instagram. I say it's still under my name. My sister pointed out to me one time, she goes, your name is literally Reed and you live on the river. So read by the river, although it's still under my name. This book it's about a man and he's like in his 70s, maybe early 80s. His wife has died. That was his person. He had to lose his home because they spent so much money on treatments. He has nowhere to live, and it's like the first day is like, I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. And he unexpectedly like comes across this outing of a, I don't know if they call it a nursing home or assisted like senior home. And there is a man that unfortunately passed away, but is sitting in his wheelchair. Like this outing, like no one's figured out that this man just passed away in his
Oh,
wheelchair.
no.
And he looks like this guy. And so this whole calamity of events, but somehow the guy ends up assuming the identity inadvertently of the man that passed away. And they assume it's this man and they take him back to the home and no one believes him. It's just this lovely story about like life in this senior home, how he like meets people, the workers there and the fellow residents, and and then it gets into like this man's daughter, and I don't know. It was just like the sweetest story, and I read for an escape. I'm not looking to like be upset. I'll read thrillers, but not a lot. Like this is just like it's like lonely people finding family. I feel
Oh
like
my
those are a
gosh.
lot of the books I like when there's a found family, people that were missing it and find it again. It's so
Okay,
sweet.
girl, that's too close to parallel. So tell us your story of I know in your 20s, right? You lost your first husband.
I was 35, he was 40.
Okay.
So we were married about 11 years. He was my favorite person at the time. And yeah, we were pretty like like two people, no kids. We had a dog. At the time, I like had decided to quit and stay home. Like I just needed to I wasn't doing great. My husband was super supportive of like, you just get yourself well. He loved his job. We had made decisions that allowed me to stay home, and I'm fortunate for that. I'm grateful for that. Like I said, we're very frugal. And he was an actuary too. And so I stayed home. Like when you say I just I don't do things. I leave and come back. I'm grateful for, like I said, it got me in a good place. And about a few years in of staying home to raise our dog, I was like, I got to do something. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. Like I, I've I baked the cake. I've done the things that I said I was going to do. I walked the dog 3 times a day. And my husband called one day from work and he said he goes, I get dizzy in the afternoons. And it was just very unsettling because he didn't have anything wrong with like this guy didn't like a lot of men, like didn't have a doctor,
Right.
didn't like willingly go to doctor's appointments if need be. He was 40 years old. He worked out 6 days a week, was a big weightlifter. And so it, like I said, it was unsettling. And I remember standing in the kitchen of the home that we had. And then it was about 2.5 months of trying to figure out what was going on with him and chasing different things. I'd call my sister and I'd say, do you have a physical therapist? Do you have a eye doctor? Do you like, cause we didn't have all these. And so like I said, we're chasing around. We also didn't realize like at the time his back was hurting,
Mm,
and he thought he had a herniated disc from lifting weights. And so all of a sudden, it all became clear it was all connected. And it's never good when your back is already hurting.
right.
He was diagnosed. It was 2012, so it'll be 14 years this year. But he was diagnosed and passed away within about 3.5 months. He was
Oh my
diagnosed the
gosh.
last first week of August, and he died the week of Thanksgiving. But I'm grateful that I wasn't working. I'm grateful that I was in a good spot to be able to handle as much as you can handle this and to like just I have no regrets with him, which I kind of thought like I can do what I can do for him now, but I can't get this time back, and then I'll deal with myself after. And it was 3 months, really. Like it wasn't like I was going to have to sustain this for years, and so I just knew it wouldn't be long. So I'm grateful, like I said, also to be there to see it, to understand, to process some of this. Yeah, but
What did it
he had a good life. It was just shorter than we thought.
right.
Yeah.
What did it teach you about who you are when all your plans fall apart?
I think I just keep going. I think humans in general are pretty resilient. Like at some point, you're like, well, I got to get up and the dog's got to be walked. I mean, or if you had kids, the kids would have things they need. I think that I will look for ways to find some humor. I think humor gets you through an awful lot. And but I think it also gave me like a lot of swagger. Like, ooh, I did that. Like I handled it. I walked him home. What greater job is there than to walk someone home?
Wow. And how did you move on after that? Like, so what happened next?
I went home. We were pretty much in a hospital or a hospice, like an inpatient hospice home. And I just wanted to go home. but I knew the only way to go home was for him to die. But
Yeah.
at some point, like, it's a lot for anyone that spent weeks at a time in a hospital. We were home a couple times in that span, like, for a week, so maybe 2, 3 weeks total in that time. But I just went home, and you have the busyness of the funeral, and he did the very traditional route, especially back then. I know now funerals have I'm a big fan of a funeral, so,
Love
like,
a Isn't that weird? Love a funeral.
I
Why do we
love a
love a
funeral.
funeral?
Do you love a funeral?
I love a funeral.
You love a fu Yeah. Like, you're
Yeah.
celebrating a life.
Right.
Like, tell me about this person. Like, here's some stories. Yeah.
Right.
It's great. Like, you get to see people. I mean, I don't have a lot of weddings coming up anymore, and so sadly, this is how you see people, but yeah. I love that you love a funeral.
Yeah, there's something about fondly remembering somebody
Yes.
and all of their weirdness and their
'Cause we're all
impact on
weird.
you and the world, right?
Yeah. And it's like, you set the date and you go, right? You're not looking at, like, yeah, it's a challenge. It might be a weekday, but, like, there's no debating. It's like, this is the day and time, and you say you have a funeral, and there's, like, priorities fall into place.
Yeah. Do you know how you want your funeral one day? This is turning dark and twisty, but I feel like
That's what I
this is
do.
on
I
par
take
for us.
people down, like, I love talking about death. I do. I just because we're all gonna die, and we're all gonna
We're all
have to deal
gonna
with
die.
death, and it just is gonna make your life a little easier if you can get comfortable with it. I still get sad, but, like,
Yeah.
it's just it takes some of the scariness out of it, you know?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I have not thought about what I want my funeral to be. I do know that I would like to go to the hospice home where my husband was because it was
Okay.
lovely. Like, so I know that. And I don't
Well,
even
that's good.
care if there's no one there with me, to be frank. Like, if my people have passed, if I've outlived people, because they are such a lovely team of people. So the dark side of me would say I look forward to dying alone at Silver.
You're like, just leave me alone. Just give me
Get
my
some
book.
peace and quiet. So maybe can someone read it? Maybe a volunteer could read to me, maybe. I'll put
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's what I
that's
know.
great.
I haven't thought about my funeral. I do. Well, I feel like people should have. Now, we had drinks and food at my husband's funeral, so you can have some beer and wine and stuff.
Okay, noted. Look
Yeah.
at me, noted.
Yeah, it was kind of like his visitation was like a happy hour. Like, we had high top tables
Okay.
and that, but it's just there was a coffin at the end and it was open because
And you're like,
that
"Well,
was
this is
what
awkward."
huh?
Yeah. Like, "Well, this is awkward."
It was
Yeah,
at the far end. And if you wanted to go say hi to him, fine.
yeah.
If you didn't, you didn't need to. But he made it available because that's like he grew up very close with his grandma and she needed to see a Bonnie at a funeral.
I
And
like
so
that, though.
I think he knew, he said, some people won't have been able to see me, is what he said. So he said, leave it open.
Okay, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like for you? Like, I can imagine being such a young widow, people coming up to you and saying, "How are you doing? How are you doing?"
Only
And
the
then you're
good die
like,
young.
"Only the good die
I'm
young.
like, well, am I not good?
Am I not good? I guess I'm gonna live forever."
It's like, okay. Let's see, you're young, you can remarry. I remember one very lovely couple, and I don't pray. I'm not like, I believe in a higher power, and I will take bits and bobs from all sorts of
Mhm.
religions and what I read, but like, I just remember this couple, and I know they went to church and they met at their church and they said, we're praying for you. And I'm like, you are? And it felt so nice because I didn't really realize, like, I was just trying to make it through, right? Like, I was like, I had the funeral, like, a funeral keeps you busy. And then, like, the day after is a whole nother story. But it was, like, so comforting that, like, I felt like they cared about me because we had spent 3 months, like, really caring on Brett. And people cared for me too. But, like, it was lovely. And there was one guy that I think I was pretty with it and I was functioning, and so I think he thought it was just a normal day at our cubicles, and he's like, "So is everything else good?" And I'm like, "I don't really have anything else right now, you know."
Ah,
But
yeah,
it's just awkward and you don't know what to say, and I wouldn't have either, but now you know a little better.
yeah. So you just show up and be yourself and think of that person, and
Yeah.
there's no right thing to say.
Now, to say I'm sorry. I know how much they meant to you.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you just said you didn't how's everything else going right now? Well, I don't have anything else right now. Like, how
No.
did you go about rebuilding your
Ah.
life?
I often say the first year was like I just went to where I was invited. Like, if people invited me to their house for dinner, I brought a 6 pack of better beer
Yep.
and and ate what they ate and sat with their kids and their dog, and sometimes my dog could come. So I did have our dog. So I'd get up, right? I remember Brett died on a Monday morning at about 10 to 8 at the hospice home, and then whoever had my dog at the time, because lovely friends and family were housing her. She went and got her, and I walked my dog at noon, like because she had to be walked. And a friend was coming to my house, and she rolled up to me on the street, and she goes, "Do you want someone to walk with you?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Okay." So I appreciate there were people that respected, like, nope. I'll see you at the house. Like, house is open. There were people there. So the first year, I just kind of went. It was you're kind of in the grief fog. Like I said, I hadn't been home. I was tired. I went to where I was invited. Kind of wandered. The second year was hard.
Mm.
Like really hard. Probably harder than the first year. And I've heard that before. And I think I just right because it was setting in. You were deciding, like, am I going to keep the house? What am I going to do? I got these cars, and I had like 3 flat tires, and I was sick of taking care of 2 cars, but they each had different purpose. One was good in the snow, and one wasn't.
Yep.
So the second year, I just went like, I sold the house because I didn't think my new life would be there. In fact, when we were talking about, and I asked Brett if he wanted to go back to Nebraska where he was from, and he said, "No, I want to be where you will be." I said, "Well, then I won't commit to where our house is." Like he's back in my hometown because I didn't want to feel like I could never leave that house in that city.
Right.
So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful he's out here with now many of my favorite family members. They're all having a great celebration, I'm sure.
Great celebration.
And so I sold the house and I did my estate planning. That's my plug. Like, look at your documents, get some things set up. There were some things we were able to do, and there were some things like was too late to do. So it just can make your family's life easier. Check the deed on your house because ours was wrong. Ended up in probate court,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it worked out fine, but it was more drama than I cared for.
Yeah.
Like a week before closing, I sold the cars, bought 1 car, and moved to an apartment. And then I kind of got there, and I'm like, well, now what? Like, because you could keep busy, and it was a lot of. We didn't have a lot of stuff, I thought, but to clean out a house and a 3-bedroom house and a garage and a basement, and my mom would come on Fridays, and we'd take trips, and we'd get rid of stuff, and we'd go to the dump, and we'd donate books to the library and DVDs because we all had DVDs, and then I called my sister one day at work, and I said, "I don't know a way out of this." And she said, "I don't know either." And I said, "Well, shoot," because she always
A
knows, she
lot.
always tells us what to do.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah. It's like, "Well, if you don't know." And then I realized I had to figure it out for myself, and there's a lot of power in that. Like, it's hard, but there's a lot of power because you would only I got very protective of myself. My apartment was my safe place. I decluttered some people from my life if I
Good for
didn't think
you.
they were good for me. And that sounds selfish, but I now if someone declutters me, I get it. And then I thought about going back to work because right that gives you such structure, and I knew I needed to, and but then our dog got sick very similar to how Brett did. So I say
Mm.
he took her back.
And
She
that was
had it.
y'all's dog together.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep, yep. And so I think he took her back. I think like that was him saying, "Go out and get your job, baby, and get a life." And so then I stayed home with her. She had it was very like she had about a few months. She had a different kind of cancer, and she had a few months, and then I put her down, and then I started meeting with people to see what I want to do for work again. And then from
No.
there, I think I found I went back to the company I was at, but working with small business owners. I really just wanted to work with small business owners. I realize now it's because I grew up in small businesses. I don't know if I had realized that or it dawned on me. And so I think I didn't want to do the actuarial thing. I will always think analytically and critically. It's just how I think. But right, you get a lot of experiences through life and through helping someone die, for lack of a better word, right? Like
Mhm.
it's hard to die with no one around. So, and I had a lot of experiences growing up in small businesses and working for my grandparents and seeing my parents and my sister and what they do. And now my new husband owns a business in town. And so, yeah, something in me just said I wanted to work with them. Now I did, and I ended up going back and working and consulting to our sales force and did that for about 10 years. But I think I'm grateful I was able to bring to it my experiences and my ability to connect with people. Like, I don't know that it helps to have some life under your belt to really connect with people.
Yeah, I mean, we've only met one time
Yeah.
previously, and you're so funny. Like, I left thinking, like, this woman is a comedian, and I know you're a writer, and you said, "I can write random things and people seem to like it." What happened? Like, how did that happen?
I I started right. So when Brett got sick, my husband, my friend who was the very wise, I almost feel like she was our project manager. She was very wise and set up a Caring Bridge site because as I say, like you get very popular when you're young and you're sick. Like people care and they're interested, and it's hard to keep everybody updated and beyond like your immediate family. So my friend set up a Caring Bridge site and put out an entry and said what was going on with Brett. And then she sent me like the link and the access. And we did not have smartphones. Like we were very resistant. Like we barely had Wi-Fi, but I had my laptop. And at some point, like it was the first night he spent in the hospital, I wrote my first post on Caring Bridge. And I ended up posting most every day, pretty much till closer to the end. And people commented. It was a place like where people could feel like they could do something because people feel helpless and they just want to fix it and you couldn't fix it. And so they just engaged, and it was like, I could read the comments to Brett. We were playing like movie trivia, like what movie is this from? We were doing like what's in your Amazon cart? We were doing your
Oh,
favorite
that's
candy bar. Like just it was like this, right? And someone got the Nebraska football coach and athletic director to comment on Brett's site. Like it was just a way to like, because there was no bucket list for him. We couldn't take him anywhere. There was no last vacation. There was no restaurant. Not that that would have been like the end all, but this was a way to like bring the outside world to him. And so I wrote and like kept it going. And I told stories about us or other people because you didn't need to share all the gory details of the medical
right.
updates like that. You got to save his dignity, like help preserve his dignity too. So I just really, and I found that I liked writing when I took a job in human resources and was working on benefits, and we are making a bunch of changes to the benefits like happens all the time now. And I wrote the initial draft of stuff because I knew the most about it. And it was just really kind of fun. So it wasn't fiction, but it was just nice to write. It wasn't a spreadsheet. It wasn't numbers and
Yeah.
formulas. And it was like there was more like creativity, even though it was writing about health plans, right? So and then I think when I left that job, I was like, well, I would like to write a book. And I never wrote the book. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll do a blog because like that was in the times of blogs. My blog turned in because that was probably, I don't know, a couple months later, and there was Caring Bridge. So I wrote that. I think but it was easy because I was writing about ourselves, like the story, like how we met or some vacation we took.
Are you writing right now?
I do write quite a bit on LinkedIn. They're short. They're posts. They're 3 to 4 to 5 days a week. I did 100 days of posts, like 100 weekdays. I knew I didn't want to post on the weekends, but that was fun. Like I lost my job last summer, and it was fun to have that because you kind of need some way to feel productive too, right? Like you need
Right.
something. And so it gave me structure. Like I like structures. I like systems. I call them routines. And my friends like they're systems. I'm like, that sounds so fancy because routines, people are like, you're stuck in your routine. So now
Stuck in your
I'm
ways.
calling them systems. So it got me up. It gave me like every day I had to come up with a post, and I committed. And if I didn't want to not do it because I put it out there, and it gave you like every day then I was looking for something in my day to post about for the next morning. So it keeps you like present. It would be like, I found this perfect acorn, or it'd be like, look at this, what was on this Dove chocolate wrapper. It didn't need to be anything big. And then you could throw in a little quip and a story. And I try to keep it short because there's so much to like content and so much to read. And
Right.
so yeah, I just try to keep it short and throw in humor or a story if I can. And I really just appreciate the community there. Like it's such a fun group of people I found. They're creative, they see possibilities, they're positive, because we have enough stuff happens. But
What I learned from you in our first meeting is that humor lets you talk about things that you maybe otherwise couldn't.
Mhm.
And it just makes it more relatable. It makes it less scary. It makes it less uncomfortable. Like, so are
Yeah.
you? How do you bring that into your everyday?
Someone told me once I'm matter of fact, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're probably right." Like maybe it's but I think I just if appropriate, right? Like I like to bring levity to a situation. So if it seems like it's okay to bring up and people you need to cut the tension, like I guess I like to find something funny. I like to reframe like, okay, that sucks that this got canceled. But on the bright side, the easy one, right? On the bright side, I have free time or my night cleared up. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just that like flipping it. And a lot of times you can find humor in that. And life life can get really hard. And
Yeah.
if I can laugh at myself, then I know I'm doing good. Like, cause like that I'm not too serious and I'm not
Right.
bogged down in the muck.
And after everything you've been through, lived through, have done, what do you feel no longer obligated to explain?
Who I'm spending holidays with. My gosh. How many like fights have there been about where to spend a holiday?
Oh my gosh. The stress of the holiday travel.
Yes. Like sleep in your own damn bed on a holiday. It's nothing better.
Oh my gosh. I'm having like
Waking up.
flashbacks to my childhood.
Uh-huh.
Over the river and through the woods.
To grandmother's house we go.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah.
There's a schedule. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick lightning round.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of fun. I'm excited.
Okay, what part of yourself are you finally letting the world see?
I would say my opinions, but not all. Like, I'm not gonna get into politics, but like just what I think and what I
I like
expect.
that. I like that. What story or belief about yourself did you have to unlearn to step fully into who you are?
That I had to be perfect.
What does it cost you to be authentic, if anything, and why is it worth it?
It costs some people, and I think that you cannot be for everyone. Like you would be exhausted. It's I'm not for everyone, and that's okay, and they're not for me, and that's fine. Because how could you possibly like? You would be twisted and contorted in so way that you wouldn't even be recognizable to yourself or the people that love you.
Right, you're a robot.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What boundary have you set that protects your sense of self?
Sense of self. I was gonna say I set boundaries on like when I would do things, but that's which I is a step, right? Like when you're like, I can only do it on these days because that's really hard for most of us. My sense of boundary to protect
Yeah.
myself. I would say I think it's almost like I love myself, which sounds really like I am very comfortable with myself.
I love
And
that.
so I don't know if that's about like so if someone doesn't like me, I kind of can let it roll off because I worked really hard for this.
Very powerful. Okay, if you could unmute one truth people are too afraid to say, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that their families are not perfect. None of
Hallmark
ours are.
card. Right. Let's have a photo shoot and send the perfect card for the holidays because we're all so perfect. We're not perfect.
It's a
Yep.
freaking hot mess sometimes.
Hot Mess Express.
Yeah, yeah.
Just giving me an idea. Okay. What
Ooh,
keeps
fun.
you grounded when you feel pressure to perform or fit in?
I don't want to. Like I'm not very good at playing a game or I'm wearing a hoodie. I won't
Yeah.
color my hair. I don't care if you color your hair. That's great. But like I
Great.
just won't. I won't. I don't think I would like it.
You only do what you want to do.
I kinda do, yeah,
I like that too.
yeah. It makes me sound really
Yes.
stubborn, yeah. I think I just am
No,
kinda like, "Eh."
it's not stubborn.
I
You
have a
just know who
sister
you are.
I have a sister that likes to pick on her clothes, and I'm like, "Why are you picking on her clothes?" And she's like I was like, "Just stop it."
Hang on your clothes?
She does it to all of us, like,
I got it. I
we're
got it.
wearing too many
She's
black
trying
hooded sweatshirts or too
Hey,
many leggings or I don't know, but yeah,
that's what you want to wear. You're
I
in your
know,
cottage,
yeah.
doing
I
your
got
thing.
I got my hoodie. I don't even wear that many hoodies.
It's just your hoodie. You just like it. So, well, thank you so much for this
Thank
convo.
you. You're like a delightful host. Like, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
This was so easy.
I just like to have fun, right? We're
Yeah.
just hanging out. So, Beth, if listeners could walk away remembering just one thing, what do you hope
Mhm.
it is?
Well, I often say this, or you might get in a card from me if you've had someone in your life die. And then they're probably like, oh, shoot, she's sending the card. So someone died. But I would say, like, oh, yeah, here she comes with the card. I would say, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and give yourself grace.
Thank you so much. And on a more personal note, what has it meant for you to share your story today?
So I am so thankful and grateful, and because I have appreciated so many people sharing their stories, and I think I learned so much, and I think that helped me so much after my husband died, and it helped me figure out like how I wanted to be, how I could like try to the chaos that can be in our minds, and so if I can be of any help to pay that back or pay it forward, I would love to. And so, thank you for giving me a venue to do that.
That's wonderful. And how can listeners find you?
I am on LinkedIn. And so happy to connect with anyone and or send me a DM or if anyone wants to chat, like I've got quite a bit of time. I don't have any text, so if you've got a Zoom link, that's great. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I post my books, but I don't write much there. I just more post about books to read. So if you need any book ideas, like let me know.
Always. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you again, Beth, for sharing your story. You've been a delight. And if this episode resonated, please share, subscribe, and stay with us as we explore what it really means to live and lead without muting who we are. Until next time, unmute yourself and be who you already are.